Welcome to Adoptions from Reddit, where real adoption stories come to life. Here you'll hear true stories from people who experienced adoption from different perspectives. Adoptive parents discovering unexpected truths, adoptees finding their biological families, birth parents sharing their journeys, foster care experiences, reunion stories, identity struggles, and all the emotional complexity that comes with adoption. Stories of loss and love, of finding where you belong, of difficult decisions, of heartbreak, of healing, and the raw reality of adoption. This is a real story, shared anonymously on Reddit. Some details have been changed to protect the identity of the people involved. My name is Jordan. I'm 22 years old. I live in Boston, Massachusetts. 3 months ago, I graduated from college. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, the culmination of 4 years of hard work, the beginning of everything I'd been working toward. But then something happened, something I never expected. Someone showed up. Someone who changed everything I thought I knew about my life. Let me start from the very beginning, from where my story really starts. I was adopted when I was 3 days old. My parents, Michael and Susan Parker, are incredible people. They're the kind of parents every child deserves. Loving, supportive, present. They gave me everything. They never hid my adoption from me. That's something I've always been grateful for. They were honest from the moment I was old enough to understand. They told me I was chosen, that I was wanted, that I was loved. They explained that my birth mother was very young when she had me, that she wasn't ready to be a parent, that she made a brave and selfless choice. She wanted me to have opportunities she couldn't provide, a stable home, a good education, a better life. I accepted this story completely. It made sense to me. It felt right. I never felt abandoned. I never felt unwanted. I felt chosen, special, loved. Growing up, I was curious about her sometimes, about my birth mother. I wondered what she looked like. If I had her eyes or her smile, if she ever thought about me, if she wondered how I turned out. But it was just a passing curiosity. Nothing that consumed me. Nothing that made me feel incomplete. I had a family, a real family. The Parkers were my parents in every way that mattered. My childhood was normal, happy. We lived in a nice neighborhood in Connecticut, suburban, safe, tree-lined streets, good schools, friendly neighbors. My dad worked as an engineer for a manufacturing company. He left early every morning, came home at 6 every evening, always made time for dinner with us, always asked about my day. My mom was a high school English teacher. She had summers off. She was always there when I got home from school, always helped with homework, always made sure I had everything I needed. We did normal family things, weekend trips to the beach, movie nights, board games at the kitchen table, birthday parties, holiday traditions, everything you'd expect from a loving family. I had friends in the neighborhood. We played soccer in the street, rode bikes until dark, built forts in the woods, had sleepovers, normal kid stuff. I did well in school, not straight A's, but good enough. I was involved in activities, soccer team, debate club, student government. I was social, popular enough, not the most popular kid, but not an outcast either. High school was good too. I had a solid group of friends, went to parties, had a girlfriend for a year, played varsity soccer, got decent grades, applied to colleges. When I got accepted to Boston University, my parents were thrilled. They helped me move in freshman year. My mom cried when they left. My dad gave me a long hug, told me he was proud of me. College was everything I hoped it would be. I studied business, made lifelong friends, joined a fraternity, went to football games, studied abroad in Spain, had relationships, made mistakes, learned, grew. My parents visited sometimes, took me out to dinner, asked how classes were going, sent care packages, called every Sunday. They were always there, always supportive. I never felt like anything was missing from my life. I never felt a void. I had everything: family, friends, education, opportunities, love. Then came senior year, the final stretch, the last semester. Everyone was stressed about what came next. Job applications, graduate school, the real world. I had a job lined up at a consulting firm in Boston. It was a good job, great pay, benefits, career potential. My parents were proud. I was excited. Everything was falling into place. Graduation was set for May 15th, a Saturday. Beautiful spring weather was forecasted. My parents had booked a hotel months in advance. They were driving up Friday night. The week before graduation was chaotic. Final exams, moving out of my apartment, saying goodbye to friends who were moving to different cities, packing up 4 years of college life, but it was also exciting, celebratory. We were done. We made it. We were graduating, moving on to the next chapter. My parents arrived Friday evening. We met at their hotel. Went out to dinner at my favorite restaurant in Boston. They were beaming. So proud. So happy. We talked about everything. My new job, my apartment search, my plans. They told me how much they'd miss having me nearby, but how excited they were for me. That night I slept better than I had in weeks. No more exams. No more papers. No more stress. Just celebration ahead. Saturday morning arrived. Graduation day. I woke up early. The sun was already shining. It was going to be a perfect day. I put on my cap and gown, looked at myself in the mirror. I couldn't believe it. 4 years had flown by. Now here I was, about to graduate. My parents met me on campus. My mom immediately started crying when she saw me in my regalia. My dad just grinned, kept saying how proud he was. We took photos. Lots of photos. Me alone, me with them, me with friends. Groups of families all doing the same thing. Everyone smiling, everyone celebrating. The ceremony was scheduled to start at 10. We had to be in our seats by 9:30. I said goodbye to my parents. They were going to find seats in the stadium. I had to line up with my classmates. The stadium was massive. Thousands of chairs, thousands of families filing in. The energy was electric. Everyone was excited, emotional, ready to celebrate. I found my section, sat down with people whose last names were close to mine alphabetically. We chatted, took selfies, complained about how long the ceremony would probably be. At 10 o'clock sharp, the processional music started. We all stood. The faculty marched in wearing their colorful academic robes. Then the administration. Then the special guests. Finally, we sat down. The president of the university gave a speech, long and boring, about our future, our potential, our responsibility to the world. Then a celebrity speaker, someone famous who had donated money to the school. More inspirational words, more talk about the future, more encouragement to go change the world. Everyone clapped politely, but we were all just waiting for our names to be called, for the moment we'd walk across that stage. Finally, they started, by school and by department, alphabetically within each. I sat through hundreds of names, waiting, watching people I knew walk across the stage. Then it was the business school's turn, my turn. They called my row to stand. We lined up along the side of the stage, waiting. I could see my parents in the crowd. They were sitting pretty far back, but I could see them. My mom had binoculars. She was scanning the graduates, looking for me. The line moved slowly, one by one. Names called, handshakes, diploma folders handed over, photos taken, each person taking their moment. Then I heard it. Jordan Michael Parker. That was me. My heart started pounding. This was it. The moment I'd been working toward for 4 years. I walked up the steps to the stage. The dean was waiting. He shook my hand, smiled, said congratulations, handed me the diploma folder. I walked across the stage, paused for the official photographer, smiled. The flash went off. Then I walked down the other side, back to my seat. It was over in maybe 15 seconds, but I'd remember it forever. That walk, that moment, that achievement. I sat back down. The ceremony continued. More names, more walking, more applause. It felt like hours. Finally, the last name was called. The president came back to the podium, said some closing words, then the moment we'd all been waiting for. I now present to you the graduating class of 2025. The stadium erupted. We all threw our caps in the air, cheered, hugged each other. People were crying, laughing, taking photos. It was chaos, beautiful chaos. I stood there taking it all in, looking around at everyone, trying to memorize this moment, this feeling. Then I started making my way toward where my parents said they'd meet me, the north entrance. Everyone was moving in different directions. Families trying to find their graduates. Graduates trying to find their families. It took me almost 20 minutes to get through the crowd. People kept stopping me. Friends wanting photos. Professors congratulating me. Other families in my way. Finally, I spotted them. My mom and dad, standing near the entrance, looking around, searching for me. My mom saw me first. Her face lit up. She started waving frantically. I pushed through the last bit of crowd, reached them. My mom immediately pulled me into a huge hug. She was crying, happy tears. "We're so proud of you," she kept saying. "So proud." My dad hugged me next. Firm, long. "You did it, son. You really did it." We stood there for a minute, just the three of us, hugging, crying a little, smiling a lot. Then my mom pulled out her phone. "We need pictures, lots of pictures." We took photos. Just me with mom, me with dad, all three of us. We asked strangers to take photos. They asked us to take photos of their families. Everyone was doing the same thing. The crowd around us was thinning a bit. Some families were leaving. Others were taking photos like us. The stadium was still full, but people were spreading out. My mom looked at her phone. "Oh, I need to use the restroom. That ceremony was so long." My dad laughed. "Me too, actually." "Jordan, you okay waiting here for a minute?" "Yeah, of course," I said. "I'll be right here." My mom handed me her phone. "Hold this. And your diploma. Don't lose anything." They walked off together toward the bathrooms. I stood there alone, holding our stuff, looking around at the celebration happening all around me. Families taking photos, friends hugging goodbye, some people already leaving. The sun was shining. It was warm, perfect weather. That's when I noticed her. A woman standing about 20 feet away. She was staring at me, not casually glancing, not looking at the crowd, staring directly at me. She was in her early 40s maybe, brown hair pulled back in a ponytail, green eyes. She was wearing a simple navy dress. Nothing fancy. She looked nervous. Her hands were clasped together in front of her. She was just standing there, watching me, not smiling, not frowning, just watching. I looked away, felt awkward. Maybe she had me confused with someone else. Or maybe she was just spacing out, looking in my direction but not actually at me. But when I looked back, she was still staring. And now she was walking toward me. My heart started beating faster. Something about this felt significant, important, strange. She stopped about 5 feet away, close enough to talk, far enough to not be invasive. She took a deep breath. "Jordan," she said. Her voice was quiet, shaky. I looked at her, confused. "Yes? Do I know you?" She smiled, sad and trembling. Her eyes were filling with tears. "No, you don't know me, but I know you. I've known you your whole life." A chill ran down my spine. What did that mean? How could she know me if I didn't know her? "I don't understand," I said. "Who are you?" She took another deep breath. A tear rolled down her cheek. "My name is Rachel Bennett. I'm your birth mother." The world stopped. Everything went silent. All the noise around me, the celebrating, the talking, the music playing somewhere, all of it faded. All I could hear was my own heartbeat, pounding in my ears. All I could see was this woman, this stranger, claiming to be my birth mother. "What?" I whispered. "I'm your birth mother," she said again, her voice breaking. "I gave birth to you 22 years ago, and I've been watching you ever since." I took a step back. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be happening. Not here, not now, not on my graduate. What do you mean you've been watching me?" She wiped the tears from her eyes. Her hands were shaking. "I know this is a shock. I know I shouldn't be here. I know this isn't the right time, but I couldn't miss this. I couldn't miss seeing you graduate." She paused, trying to compose herself. "I've been to everything, Jordan. Every school play, every soccer game, every debate competition, every important moment in your life. I've always been there, in the background, watching from a distance, making sure you were okay." My legs felt weak. I thought I might fall over. "You've been watching me? My whole life? Without me knowing?" She nodded, more tears falling. "I know how it sounds. I know it seems wrong, strange, maybe even creepy. But when I gave you up for adoption, the social worker told me it was a closed adoption, that I would never see you again, that I had to move on with my life, forget you." Her voice cracked, but I couldn't. "I couldn't forget you. You're my son. I carried you for 9 months. I held you in my arms. I named you. How do you forget that? How do you just move on?" I stood there, frozen, unable to process what she was saying. "So you followed me? You stalked me?" "No," she said quickly. "Not stalked. I never approached you, never tried to contact you. I just watched. From far away, I found out where you lived, where you went to school, and I would go there sometimes, just to see you, just to make sure you were happy and healthy." She pulled a tissue from her purse, wiped her eyes. "I stayed far enough away that no one would notice me. I never got too close. I never disrupted your life. I needed to see you, to know you were okay. That was all I had." I shook my head, trying to make sense of this. "But that's not normal. That's not okay. You can't just watch someone their whole life without them knowing." "I know," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You're right. I know it's not normal. I know I probably crossed lines I shouldn't have. But I was 18 when I had you, Jordan. 18. Barely an adult myself." She took a shaky breath. "My parents kicked me out when they found out I was pregnant. The father wanted nothing to do with us. I had no money, no support, no way to take care of a baby. The adoption agency said this was best, that you'd have a better life. And they were right." More tears fell. "Your parents are wonderful. I could see that from the beginning. I watched them with you. I saw how much they loved you. how happy you were, how well they took care of you, and that made it easier, knowing you had what I couldn't give you. I didn't know what to say, what to feel. Anger, confusion, sympathy, all of it at once? Why are you telling me this now? I asked. Why reveal yourself after all these years? She looked at me, really looked at me. Because you're an adult now. Because I wanted you to know the truth before you started your new life. I wanted you to know that you were never forgotten, that you were loved, always, by the family who raised you and by the woman who gave you life. She reached into her purse, pulled out a manila envelope. This is for you, my contact information, some photos I've taken over the years, a letter explaining everything. You don't have to read it now. You don't have to read it ever if you don't want to. But if you ever want to know more, if you ever want to talk, I'll be here. She held out the envelope, her hand shaking. I stared at it. Should I take it? Should I refuse? Should I walk away? My hand moved before my brain decided. I took the envelope, held it. It felt heavy, full of secrets, full of a past I didn't know existed. I should go, she said, looking around nervously. Your parents will be back soon. I don't want to cause problems. I don't want to disrupt your life any more than I already have. She started to turn away, then stopped, looked back at me one more time. You turned out exactly how I hoped you would. Kind, smart, strong, successful. Your parents did an amazing job, better than I ever could have. I'm grateful to them, and I'm grateful I got to see it happen, even from a distance. She smiled, sad, but genuine. Congratulations, Jordan, on your graduation, on everything. I'm so proud of you. I've always been proud of you. Then she walked away, disappeared into the crowd, just like that, as suddenly as she had appeared. I stood there, holding the envelope. My mind was spinning. My heart was racing. Did that really just happen? Was that real? I looked down at the envelope. It had my name written on it in neat handwriting. Jordan Parker. Nothing else. Just my name. A minute later, my parents came back. My mom was smiling. Sorry that took forever. The lines were crazy. Are you okay? You look pale. I looked at her. This woman who raised me, who loved me, who was my real mother in every way that mattered. Should I tell her? Should I say something? I'm fine, I heard myself say, just overwhelmed. It's been a big day. My dad put his arm around my shoulders. It has been, and we're so proud of you. Should we get some lunch? Celebrate properly? I nodded, tried to smile. Yeah, that sounds good. We walked to the car. My dad had parked a few blocks away. The campus was so crowded. We made small talk about the ceremony, about how long it was, about all the people. I was barely listening. All I could think about was the envelope in my pocket, the woman who had just revealed herself, the secrets I was now carrying. We drove to my favorite restaurant in Cambridge, a place we always went when they visited. The waiter congratulated me, brought me a free dessert because it was my graduation. My parents were in great moods, talking about my job, my new apartment, when I'd be moving, what furniture I'd need, making plans. I tried to be present, tried to engage, but my mind kept drifting, back to Rachel, back to what she said, back to the envelope burning a hole in my pocket. After lunch, we walked around campus, took more photos. My parents wanted pictures of me in front of all my favorite spots. The library where I studied, the quad where I hung out, my old dorm building. Then they drove me back to my apartment. We said goodbye. They were heading back to Connecticut. They had to work on Monday. My mom hugged me tight. We love you so much. We're so proud of you. Call us this week, okay? My dad hugged me too. Congratulations again, son. You've made us very happy. I watched them drive away, waved until their car disappeared. Then I went inside, closed the door, and finally let myself process what had happened. I sat on my couch, stared at the envelope. Should I open it? Should I throw it away? Pretend this never happened? My hands made the decision. I opened it, pulled out the contents. There were photos, dozens of them. Photos of me at different ages, different places, different moments in my life. Me at the playground when I was about 5, playing on the swings. Me at what looked like my elementary school, standing with friends. Me at a soccer game in middle school, running on the field. Me at my 8th grade graduation, wearing a tie that was too big. Me at prom in high school, standing with my date. Me moving into college freshman year, carrying boxes. She really had been there, at everything, capturing moments, watching from wherever she was hiding. In some of the photos I could see her, blurry in the background, standing far away, but there, at my 6th birthday party at the park. She was by a tree in the distance. At my high school graduation, she was in the top row of the bleachers, At my college orientation, she was near the parking lot. Always far away, always hidden, but always there. I felt sick, violated. Someone had been watching me my entire life, without my knowledge, without my consent. That wasn't okay. But I also felt something else. Something I didn't want to feel, touched, moved. She had loved me enough to never fully let go, even when she had to give me away. There was a letter, handwritten, several pages. I unfolded it, started reading. Dear Jordan, if you're reading this, it means I found the courage to give you this letter. It means you know who I am now, what I've been doing, and I hope, maybe someday, you can understand. Maybe even forgive me. My name is Rachel Elizabeth Bennett. I'm 40 years old. I live in Providence, Rhode Island. I'm a teacher, 3rd grade. I never married, never had more children. You're my only child, the only baby I ever had, the only one I ever wanted. I was 18 when I got pregnant with you. I was a freshman in college, first semester. I had a scholarship. I was going to study education, become a teacher. I had my whole life planned out. Then I met someone, a guy in my dorm. We dated for a few months. I thought I was in love. I thought he loved me too. Then I found out I was pregnant. When I told him, he broke up with me, said he wasn't ready to be a father, said I should handle it. That was the last time I saw him. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't tell my parents at first. They were so proud of me for getting into college, for being the first person in our family to go. I couldn't disappoint them, but eventually I had to. I was starting to show. I couldn't hide it anymore. I went home for Thanksgiving break, told them over dinner. They were devastated, angry, ashamed. My father told me I had 2 choices: keep the baby and be on my own, or give the baby up and they'd help me finish school. I didn't know how I could raise a baby alone at 18. I had no job, no money, no way to support myself, let alone a child. So I chose adoption, the hardest decision I've ever made. The agency said it was best, that the baby would have opportunities I couldn't provide: a stable home, 2 parents, financial security, everything I wanted for you but couldn't give you. I believed them. I signed the papers. But then you were born. March 23rd, 7 pounds, 4 ounces, 20 inches long. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. They let me hold you for 2 days in the hospital. 2 days. That's all I got. 48 hours to be your mother. I memorized everything about you. Your tiny fingers, your soft hair, the way you made little sounds when you slept, your smell, your weight in my arms, everything. On the 3rd day, the adoptive parents came, the Parkers. They seemed nice, nervous but excited, ready to be parents. They took you, and I watched you leave. I watched them carry you out of the hospital, and my heart broke into a million pieces. The social worker told me I did the right thing, that I was brave, that I should move on with my life, go back to school, finish my degree, find someone, have more children, forget this ever happened. But how do you forget your own child? How do you move on from that? I tried. I went back to school, finished my degree, became a teacher like I planned. But I couldn't forget you. I couldn't let go. So I found you. It wasn't hard. I knew the Parkers' names from the adoption paperwork. I knew they lived in Connecticut. I found their address. And one day, about 6 months after the adoption, I drove there. I parked down the street from their house, and I waited. Eventually, I saw them. Your mom pushing a stroller, walking down the sidewalk. And I saw you, in the stroller, 6 months old, growing, thriving. I followed at a distance, just watching. She took you to the park, put you in the baby swing. You laughed. She laughed. You were happy. I could see that. And I cried. I cried because I wasn't the one pushing that swing, but also because I was grateful. Grateful that you were happy, that you had a good mother. After that, I started going more often. Not every day, not even every week, but sometimes. When I needed to see you, when I needed to know you were okay. I watched you grow up. I watched you learn to walk, talk, ride a bike. I was there for your first day of kindergarten, watching from my car as your parents walked you to the door. I was there for your soccer games in elementary school, sitting in the bleachers far from your parents, wearing sunglasses and a hat so no one would recognize me. Not that anyone would. No one knew me. I was just another parent in the crowd. I was there for your school plays, your concerts, your spelling bees, your science fairs, everything. Always in the back, always hidden, always watching. When you started middle school, I thought maybe I should stop. Maybe you were old enough now, settled enough. Maybe I didn't need to watch anymore. But I couldn't stop. I needed to see you, to know you were still okay, still happy, still thriving. I was there for your middle school graduation, your first high school dance, your soccer championships, your debate competitions, your college acceptance celebration. I saw you grow from a baby into a boy into a young man, and I was so proud, so grateful, so heartbroken that I couldn't be part of it, but also grateful that I got to witness it, even from afar. I know what I did wasn't normal. I know it crosses boundaries. I know it's probably wrong, but it was all I had. The only way I could still be a mother, even if you didn't know I existed. I want you to know something important. Your parents are wonderful. They raised you with love. They gave you everything. They did everything right. I'm not trying to replace them. I'm not trying to disrupt your relationship with them. I just wanted you to know the truth, that you were never forgotten, that you were loved by me every single day of your life, even when you didn't know it. I don't expect anything from you. I don't expect you to understand or forgive me. I don't expect you to want a relationship with me. I just wanted you to know I existed, that I cared, that I've been rooting for you all along. If you ever want to talk, my number is at the bottom of this letter. If you don't, I understand. I'll respect whatever you decide. I wish you every happiness, Jordan. You deserve the world. And I'm so grateful I got to see you become the man you are today. With all my love always, Rachel. I sat there for a long time, just holding the letter, tears streaming down my face. I didn't know what to feel. Anger that she had invaded my privacy for 22 years. Sadness for the impossible choice she had to make at 18. Gratitude that she had loved me enough to never fully let go. Confusion about what this all meant. All of it mixing together into something I couldn't name. I looked at the photos again, really studied them. In some of them, I was smiling, laughing, playing, happy. She had captured moments I didn't even remember. Moments that were now preserved because she had been there. Watching, documenting, loving from a distance. I thought about all those times, all those soccer games and school plays and important moments. She had been there, somewhere in the crowd, somewhere in the background, and I had no idea. None. What must that have been like for her? To watch her son grow up but never be able to approach him, never be able to talk to him, never be able to be his mother except in secret. The pain of that, the loneliness. I thought about my parents, Michael and Susan. Would they be hurt if they knew? Would they feel threatened? Would they see Rachel as a danger? An intrusion? I didn't know. I didn't know anything anymore. I spent the rest of that day just sitting there, processing, feeling, trying to understand. The sun set. My apartment grew dark. I didn't turn on any lights, just sat there in the darkness. My phone rang. My mom, checking in, making sure I got home okay. I let it go to voicemail. I couldn't talk to her right now. Not until I figured out what to do with this information. That night, I barely slept. I kept thinking about Rachel, about the letter, about the photos, about her sitting in the bleachers at my soccer games, standing in the back row at my school plays, watching from the parking lot at my graduation, always there, always watching, always loving me in the only way she could. The next morning, I woke up exhausted, emotionally drained. I made coffee, sat on my balcony, looked at the envelope again. At the bottom of the letter was her phone number, handwritten, 7 digits that could connect me to the woman who gave me life, the woman who had been a ghost in my life for 22 years. I stared at it. Should I call? Should I reach out? Should I pretend this never happened? I spent the whole day thinking about it, going back and forth, building up courage, talking myself out of it, building up courage again. Then that night, around 8 o'clock, I made a decision. My hand was shaking as I picked up my phone, as I dialed the number, as I held the phone to my ear. It rang. Once, twice, 3 times. Maybe she wouldn't answer. Maybe this was a sign I shouldn't do this. Then she answered. Hello? Her voice was tentative, nervous, like she'd been waiting for this call but didn't believe it would actually come. Rachel, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. It's Jordan. I heard her gasp. Then silence. Then a sound that might have been crying. Jordan. Oh my God, you called. I didn't think you would. I hoped, but I didn't think. I read your letter, I said. I looked at all the photos, and I don't know what to feel, I don't know what to think, but I have questions. Of course, she said quickly. Ask me anything. Anything at all. We talked for 3 hours that night. I asked her everything. About my birth, about why she gave me up, about how she found me, about all those years of watching. She answered everything, honestly, openly, holding nothing back. She told me about being 18 and scared, about the boyfriend who abandoned her, about her parents who gave her an impossible choice, about the adoption agency that promised her it was the best thing for me. She told me about the first time she held me in the hospital, about those 2 days she got to be my mother, about how it felt to watch the Parkers carry me away, about the grief that followed, the depression, The inability to move on. She told me about finding me when I was 6 months old, about that first time she saw me in the park with my mom, about deciding to keep watching, to stay involved in the only way she could. She told me about all the moments she witnessed. My first soccer goal, my lead role in the 5th grade play, my debate championship in high school, my college acceptance. She had been there for all of it, a silent witness to my life, an invisible guardian, a mother who couldn't mother except from the shadows. "Were you at my high school graduation too?" I asked. "Yes," she said softly. "I was in the very back row. When they called your name, I cried. I was so proud of you. I felt tears forming in my eyes. Why did you wait until now to tell me? Why not before?" She was quiet for a moment. "Because you were a child before. You didn't need this burden, this confusion. You had parents who loved you, a life that was working." I didn't want to disrupt that, but now you're an adult. You're starting your own life, and I wanted you to know the truth before you moved on, before you started your career and maybe got married and had kids of your own. I wanted you to know you came from love, that you were never forgotten. We talked until almost midnight. By the end of the call, I was exhausted, emotionally wrung out, but also something else, lighter somehow. Like a truth I didn't know I needed had been revealed. Before we hung up, Rachel said something that stuck with me. "I don't expect anything from you, Jordan. I don't expect to be part of your life going forward. I just wanted you to know the truth. That's all. Whatever you decide to do with this information is completely up to you. I'll respect whatever you choose." Over the next few days, I thought about nothing else. I went through my normal routine, packed up my apartment, prepared for my new job starting in a few weeks. But my mind was always on Rachel, on her letter, on her love. I looked at the photos again and again, studying them, seeing my life through her eyes, all those moments she had witnessed, all those milestones she had celebrated silently. It was overwhelming, strange, but also somehow beautiful. A week after graduation, I called her again. We talked for another 2 hours. This time it felt easier, less tense, more natural. I asked her about her life, what she did, who she was beyond being my birth mother. She told me about her job teaching 3rd grade, about how much she loved working with kids, about how it was her way of nurturing even though she couldn't nurture me. She told me about her small apartment in Providence, about her quiet life, about her friends who didn't know about me, about how I was her biggest secret, the things she carried alone for 22 years. "Did you ever think about having more children?" I asked. "No," she said. "I couldn't. My heart was always with you. I dated a few people over the years, but it never went anywhere. I couldn't fully give myself to anyone because part of me was always yours. I know that's not healthy. I know I probably needed therapy, but that's the truth." We started talking regularly after that. Phone calls every few days, then every other day, then almost daily. Getting to know each other, building something. I don't know what to call it. A relationship, a connection, something. I learned so much about her. She was funny, smart, kind, a little shy. She loved reading, old movies, hiking, photography. That's why she had taken so many pictures of me over the years. Photography was her hobby. She was creative, artistic, good at seeing beauty in small things. She was also lonely. I could hear it in her voice, feel it in her words. She had built her entire life around watching mine. And now that I knew, now that we were talking, she didn't know what to do with herself. About 3 weeks after graduation, I made a decision, a big one. "Rachel," I said during one of our calls, "I want to meet you, like actually meet you, not just talk on the phone. Can we do that?" I heard her breath catch. "Really? You want to meet me?" "Yes," I said. "I need to see you, talk to you in person. I have more questions. And I think I need this." We arranged to meet in Providence, halfway between Boston and where she lived, neutral territory. I was nervous the whole drive up. What would it be like to sit across from her? To look her in the eye? To see the woman who gave me life? I got to the coffee shop early, sat at a corner table, waited. My heart was pounding, my hands were sweating. Then she walked in. I recognized her immediately from graduation. Brown hair, green eyes, simple clothes. She looked even more nervous than I felt. She saw me, smiled tentatively, walked over. "Jordan," she said softly. "Hi," I said, standing up. We stood there awkwardly for a moment, not sure what to do. Then she opened her arms, offering a hug. I hesitated, then stepped forward. We hugged, brief, careful, like strangers trying to be something more. We sat down, ordered coffee, and then we just talked. For hours, face to face, looking at each other, really seeing each other. I could see myself in her features, the same eyes, the same nose, the same way of smiling. It was strange, seeing where I came from, seeing my DNA expressed in another person. We talked about everything, my childhood, her life, the adoption, the watching, the secrecy, the love. She cried several times, apologized, said she didn't mean to be emotional. I told her it was okay, that this was emotional for both of us. Before we left, she gave me something, a small box. "This is for you," she said. "I've been keeping it for 22 years. I opened it. Inside was a hospital bracelet, tiny, baby-sized. It said, "Baby Boy Bennett," and my birth date. "They gave me this when you were born," she explained. "It was the only thing I had from those 2 days. The only proof that I had been your mother, even if just for a little while. I want you to have it now." I looked at the tiny bracelet, imagined it on my wrist as a newborn, imagined her looking at it all these years, holding on to this one small connection to me. "Thank you," I whispered. We met several more times over the next few weeks, getting more comfortable with each other, building trust, building something that felt like the beginning of a relationship. Then came the hard part, telling my parents. I had been avoiding it. I knew I had to, but I was scared. Scared they'd be hurt. Scared they'd feel betrayed. Scared they'd be angry at Rachel, or angry at me for talking to her. But I couldn't keep this secret forever. It wasn't fair to anyone. So about a month after graduation, I drove home to Connecticut, told my parents I needed to talk to them about something important. We sat in the living room, the same room where I had grown up, where I had done homework at the coffee table, where we had opened Christmas presents every year, where I had told them I got into college. My mom sensed something was wrong. "What is it, honey? You're scaring us." I took a deep breath. Then I told them everything. About Rachel appearing at graduation, about the letter, the photos, the 22 years of watching, about our phone calls, our meetings, all of it. My mom started crying immediately. Not angry tears, sad tears, overwhelmed tears. My dad was quiet. His face was hard to read. When I finished, there was silence, long and heavy. Finally, my mom spoke. "That poor woman," she said, "carrying that pain for so long, never being able to let go." I was surprised. That wasn't the reaction I expected. "You're not angry?" I asked. She shook her head. "No. How could I be angry? She gave us the greatest gift. She trusted us with her son. Yes, what she did was unusual, watching you all those years. But I think I understand. She was a teenager who had to make an impossible choice, and she found a way to cope with it, even if it wasn't conventional." My dad finally spoke. His voice was quiet, thoughtful. "Did we ever see her? At any of those events?" "I don't know," I said. "Maybe. She was always far away, always trying to stay hidden." He nodded slowly. "I think maybe I did, now that I think about it. There were times over the years where I noticed the same woman at different events, soccer games, school things. I always thought it was odd, but I never imagined it could be your birth mother." My mom reached over, took my hand. "Are you okay with all of this? How are you feeling?" "I don't know," I admitted. Confused, overwhelmed, but also, I don't know, grateful maybe? That she cared enough to never fully let go. That she loved me even when she couldn't be with me. My dad looked at me. "Do you want to have a relationship with her? Going forward?" "I think so," I said. "I don't know what that looks like, but yeah, I think I do." My mom nodded. "Then we support you. We're not threatened by her, Jordan. She's not trying to replace us. She's just trying to finally be part of your life in a real way. And if that's what you want, we're okay with it." I felt tears forming. "Really? Really?" My dad said. "You're our son. We raised you. We love you. Nothing will ever change that. But you can love her too. You can have a relationship with her too. Love isn't finite. There's room for everyone." That conversation changed everything. The guilt I had been carrying about talking to Rachel, the fear that I was betraying my parents, all of it lifted. My parents not only accepted Rachel's existence, they wanted to meet her. They wanted to thank her. So we arranged it. A meeting. The four of us. Me, my parents, and Rachel. At a restaurant halfway between Connecticut and Providence. Rachel was terrified. I could tell. She kept asking if I was sure this was a good idea, if my parents really wanted to meet her, or if they were just being polite. "They want to meet you," I assured her. "Really? They do." The day came. We all arrived at the restaurant. I got there first, then my parents, then Rachel. When Rachel walked in and saw my parents sitting at the table, she looked like she might turn around and leave, but she didn't. She walked over, slowly, carefully. My mom stood up first, walked around the table, and did something amazing. She pulled Rachel into a hug. Rachel started crying immediately. My mom held her. "Thank you," my mom said, her voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for giving us Jordan. Thank you for making the hardest choice a mother can make. Thank you for loving him enough to want better for him." Rachel sobbed. I'm so sorry for watching him all those years. For invading your privacy, Stop," my mom said gently. "You don't need to apologize. You were a young girl who had to give up her baby, and you found a way to cope, a way to still be connected. I'm not angry. I'm heartbroken for you, for all those years you had to watch from a distance." My dad stood up too, offered his hand. Rachel shook it. "We're grateful to you," he said simply. "You gave us our son, our greatest joy. We can never repay that." We all sat down, and we talked. For hours. My parents asked Rachel about herself, her life, her job. Rachel asked them about raising me, about my childhood, my personality, things she could only observe but never truly know from a distance. It was strange, beautiful, emotional. 3 parents who loved the same child, all coming together, all trying to figure out how to navigate this new reality. At one point, my mom said something that made Rachel cry all over again. "You know, over the years, I sometimes felt like someone was watching over Jordan. I couldn't explain it, just a feeling, like he had a guardian angel. Now I know he did. He had you." That meeting was the beginning of something new. Rachel became part of my life, not as a mother. I already had a mother, but as someone important, someone who cared, someone who had always been there, even when I didn't know it. We get coffee every few weeks now, sometimes just the 2 of us, sometimes with my parents. We text regularly. She sends me photos from when I was growing up, photos she took from a distance but now can share openly. My parents have welcomed her, invited her to family dinners, included her in holidays. There's no jealousy, no competition, just an understanding that families can be complicated, can be big, can include people who love you in different ways. Rachel has started therapy. She admits that what she did for 22 years wasn't healthy, that she needs to work through the grief and loss she never properly processed, that she needs to build a life that isn't centered entirely around watching mine, but she's working on it, healing, moving forward. Today, I'm grateful for all of it, for the parents who raised me with love and dedication, for the birth mother who gave me life and loved me from afar, for the strange circumstances that brought us all together. I think about how easily this could have never happened if Rachel hadn't shown up at graduation, if she had kept her secret forever, if she had never revealed herself. I would have gone my whole life never knowing she existed, never knowing someone loved me from the shadows. But she was brave. She took a risk. She revealed herself. And because of that, I now have a more complete picture of where I come from, who I am, why I exist. I've learned that love takes many forms. The love of adoptive parents who choose you, the love of a birth mother who gives you life, the love of someone who watches over you from a distance. All of it is valid. All of it is real. All of it shaped who I am. To anyone who has given a child up for adoption and is struggling to let go, I want you to know something. Your love matters. Your grief is valid. What you did was one of the hardest things any person can do. And while I don't necessarily recommend watching your child's life from the shadows for decades, I understand the impulse, the need to know they're okay, the inability to fully let go. I hope you can find healthy ways to process that grief, to heal, to move forward. But I also hope you know that your child was shaped by your love, even if they didn't know you were there. To adoptive parents, I want to say thank you. Thank you for opening your hearts and homes. Thank you for loving children who didn't come from you but needed you desperately. And I hope you can find it in your hearts to welcome birth parents if they ever appear, not as threats, but as people who also love your child, who made impossible choices, who deserve grace and understanding. My parents did this beautifully. They could have been threatened by Rachel. They could have pushed her away, but they didn't. They welcomed her, thanked her, included her, and that made all the difference. And to adoptees who might discover similar truths about their birth parents, I want to say this. It's okay to feel confused, overwhelmed, angry even. What Rachel did was unusual. It crossed boundaries. It wasn't conventional, but it came from love, pure, desperate, unconditional love. And while you might need time to process it, I hope you can find it in your heart to understand, to forgive, to build something new. I'm still figuring out what my relationship with Rachel looks like, still learning how to navigate having 2 families, still processing the fact that someone watched over me my entire life without me knowing. But I'm grateful, so incredibly grateful, for the complexity, for the love, for the second chances, for the healing that's happening, for all of it. Rachel gave me life, my parents gave me a life, and now, finally, we're all together, building something new, Something beautiful. Something that honors all the love that has always been there, even when I couldn't see it. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, if you've discovered someone watching over you, if you've reunited with a birth parent in an unexpected way, if you're navigating the complexity of multiple families who love you, I'd love to hear from you. Where you are now, how you processed it, how you healed. I'm still on this journey, still figuring it out. Still grateful for every confusing, beautiful, complicated moment of it.